So I've been creating content here on YouTube going on 7 years now. And over the course of that time, I've been able to build an audience of like-minded people who are all looking to lead more intentional and purposeful lives. Now, regardless of how long I've been doing this, I'm still surprised by the large gap between expectations and reality of being a YouTuber. Most think it looks something like this. But in reality, it actually looks something like this. Oh my God. Oh my God, why? Okay, I should probably start recording. Yeah. Hello? Trying to edit this video. Well, this computer keeps freezing. Yeah, I know, but I have to finish it today, so I gotta figure something out. Dang, bro, that loud refrigerator. So today I plan to share what it's like being a minimalist YouTuber, my personal experience, and the challenges I face. And then later on, I'll be giving you an unedited glimpse into my content creation process from inception to publication using Notion, who is also sponsoring today's video. So shout out to Notion and thank you. All right, cut. Whew, this conversation's about to get real. I hope you're ready. I'm excited. All right, let's do this. Okay, where do I start? So I want to talk about my experience on YouTube. I am certainly not speaking for others, nor am I what some would call a YouTube celebrity that travels the world and creates viral videos. I'm just a traditional guy who broke free from traditional thinking. I talk about minimalism, habits, and life through a poetic lens, all in effort to change my life as well as yours and others that have joined this community. So my experience has not been like most. To be honest, I didn't start this channel with extremely high expectations. I knew that I had something I wanted to share and a unique perspective, but being able to make a living from that felt out of reach until it wasn't. See, my experience from the very beginning was like anyone else starting with 0 subscribers. No one was watching my videos other than myself, my family, and those I enthusiastically texted the video links to. So I had a really hard time pushing through that. The hardest thing for me to overcome when I first started was investing so much time and energy into creating videos when no one was really watching. The planning, the scripting, the recording, editing, but ironically, that's the exact thing you have to do if you want to build an audience on this platform. However, I resisted that for years. I instead allowed myself to become comfortable with doing things that didn't necessarily require extra effort. So I made videos that were quick to make, I'd say, and didn't call for much planning and very minimal editing, unlike the 30+ hours I put in every week to create my content now. As someone who talks about minimalism, I'd say that this content category has been the most interesting to create. See, minimalism is gaining the attention of millions, and it continues to increase in popularity with no sign of slowing down anytime soon. And as a result, there are a ton of minimalist creators flooding the internet hoping to grab a piece of the pie. So finding ways to stand out while still providing usable value proved to be a challenge. But over time, I started to find my way and found that staying true to myself and showing that I'm human was the best approach. Plus, I really love poetry, so that's probably why most of my videos sound like a poem. Another way to digest this is understanding that decluttering is nothing more than words inked on the pages of our book of life. With every item, person, or thing we donate, discard, and disconnect from is us turning a new page, reading another chapter, growing to fulfill this character we were written to be. Okay, I almost let the poet in me take over for a second, but really my goal for this conversation, one of the biggest lessons I've learned from being on YouTube, creating content, and studying the art of storytelling and filmmaking is that fear is real. but through that is how you grow and reach your full potential. There have been countless moments where I've dealt with fear in regards to creating on YouTube specifically. I've battled with thoughts of not feeling good enough, questioning my creative skills. Am I boring? Are people judging me? Or feeling like a complete goofball walking around a public place recording myself. But I've learned that you have to continue showing up every day, excited to create and motivated to get better. And you do that by pushing that fear aside and sharing your message despite how afraid or nervous it makes you feel. And this is just a glimpse into the fears I and many other YouTubers I'm sure are feeling. There's also the fear of losing it all. What if everyone stops watching? What if my channel gets deleted? There's also stress and pressure, whether it's fictional or legit anxiety of trying to balance creating with everyday life. But like anything else we do in life, we have to decide how we're going to allow those feelings to affect us and how we're going to view our worth and value as a creator. And sometimes that means taking a step back for the sake of our own mental health. For me, creating an engaging video that is filled with value is a lot of fun, especially when others are watching and commenting how much they can relate to everything I expressed and shared. And while seeing those positive responses and the video metrics increase over time is motivating, I've had to remind myself to take care of me. So that way I don't become burnt out and no longer enjoy something that I truly enjoy doing, if that makes sense. In fact, I've learned that that's also true with anything you do in life. As someone who is very ambitious, it took me a while to understand that it's okay to be human, and I have to make sure that I'm also making room in my life for other things that are also important to me. Okay, cut. Whew. All right, let's break and reset for the second half of the video, which would be at the dining room table, AKA my desk for the time being. Okay, let's talk about my content creation process from inception to publication. For about a year now, I've been using a platform called Notion to manage my entire life, including my content creation dashboard that I'll be sharing with you today. Now, when I say my entire life, I'm not kidding. I've built a complete life operating system that covers everything from creativity to business to habit tracking, journaling and note taking, finances, fitness, learning, as well as my daily tasks and to-dos. But I'm also working on a top secret workspace that you may have an opportunity to work in and be a part of with me, but I'll save that excitement for later. See, Notion is an all-in-one workspace for teams and individuals that truly gives you the freedom to build a workspace that helps you focus on what matters. You can start from scratch or with any of the pre-built templates they offer. And the really cool thing about this is that I am able to access my life management system anywhere on any device at any time I need to, because Notion works on desktop, mobile, and the web. And that's not even the best part. It's 100% free on top of that. So if you're interested in building your own life operating system or just managing the projects in your life, then you can sign up by using the link in the description below. Now, within this last year, I've really started emphasizing storytelling in more of my content, and the feedback from you and everyone in this community has been incredible. But this shift in my video style has really forced me to rethink how I plan and execute my videos. It takes much more planning and preparation per video now than it did when I first started posting to YouTube. I found myself needing storyboards and strategies, scripts and shot lists in order to make these ideas I have really come to life. At first, I was using many different applications to manage each piece of this process individually, and while it worked, I found myself growing frustrated every time I had to bounce back and forth between applications, hoping I didn't forget about anything, which has actually happened more often than I like to admit. But thankfully, Notion allows me to do all of this and more within one workspace I've created to help me stay focused, create better content, and actually move the needle on all of my projects and goals. So let me share my screen with you and actually walk you through my entire content creation process step by step, as if I was planning, producing, and publishing a YouTube video in real time with you. Okay, so the first thing you're looking at here is my content creation dashboard. This is the command center for everything YouTube, podcast, Patreon, newsletter, Instagram, blog posts, all of it. This is where ideas are born, nurtured, and managed step by step until they are published to the public. Now, everything you see on this page is a filtered view of one database or a master table that houses every piece of content I've created or have yet to create, regardless of its current status. And that master table is what I call the content creation pipeline. But I don't actually work on my content directly from this table in this view. Everything I do to manage my content is done on the content creation dashboard. So you'll see here that I have a filtered view for content ideas. These are simply ideas that have not entered the creation pipeline, meaning I'm not actively working on them in any way. Below that, I have the production pipeline. This is a Kanban board view of the exact same table I just showed you, filtered to only show me pieces of content that I'm actively working on by status. So we have a status of in queue, writing, recording, editing, scheduled, and published. And I can easily click and drag these pieces of content to the next status as I work on them and move them through the pipeline. Below that, I have a filtered view of the same table again that only shows me content that is scheduled. And then I also have another view here that only shows me content that has been published. Now, if we scroll down, you'll see that I have a content calendar here as well. Believe it or not, this is the exact same view of the exact same table I just showed you earlier, but this time I'm viewing it as a calendar. And for the sake of explanation, Notion gives you the option to view your data or information in many different views. So really quick, if we were to create a new workspace and made a table of information we wanted to manage, we can then change the view of that table by clicking this dropdown and selecting the view we want to see. So if we jump back over to my content creation dashboard, I have a calendar view here that allows me to see every piece of content I've previously published or have planned and scheduled for the future. I like having this option of seeing my content in a monthly view because it allows me to make sure I'm balancing the type of content I create. But if I need to reschedule a post or move some things around and make adjustments, I can easily do that without missing something. All right, now let's create a new piece of content together so I can show you how I go from an idea to a full-blown video, for example, like this one you're currently watching. So if I hit new, a blank page opens, and this is where all of the planning, storyboarding, scripting, and shot list building happens, right? So we'll give this page a title. Let's say new video idea. Now, below the title, you'll see I have a bunch of properties that I set up that help me manage each new piece of content I create. Okay, so really quick, I have a status property here. This is the exact same status you saw on the Kanban board. So is this piece of content a potential idea? Is it in queue, writing, recording, editing, scheduled, or published? I will select the channel here. So is it going on my YouTube channel, my podcast, my newsletter, Patreon, my blog, or is it an Instagram post? And then I will select the publishing date here. And then I also have a set of tags that I assign to every piece of content I create. So is this productivity? Is it money? Is it minimalism? Is it mindset, life, as an example? And then down here, I have content intentions. This is mainly for me to make sure I'm creating balanced content. So help or discovery content are how-to videos. So how to reset your life, for example. And then I have hub and community content. So my biggest regrets in life, as an example. And then I have hero content. This is mainly for Instagram, quick, valuable pieces of content that you can absorb and then move on with your day. Now, I also have two properties here, sponsor and sponsor price. If the video or the piece of content that I'm working on is sponsored by someone, then I will put that sponsor and the price right there. And then down here, these two properties here, I have action item and then action item due date. This is how I link every piece of content I create or am working on to my to-do list or my action items database. So every time I open up my Notion in the morning, look at my to-do list, if I have to work on a piece of content that day, whether it's recording it, whether it's scripting it, that piece of content will show up on my to-do list because I link it right here with these two properties. And then below that, I have the URL. This is where I will paste the URL to that piece of content once it goes live and it's published to the public. I have three checkboxes here. So is this piece of content monetized? If it's sponsored, have I been paid for it yet? And then when it's published, I will check the publish box. And then these last three properties here are just notes and who is the owner of this piece of content. Just more general information for me as I create the content and move it through the pipeline. All right, now down here within the workspace of this page is where all the magic happens. You'll see that I have a few custom templates that I created that really help to speed up my workflow when it comes to creating new pieces of content. So each of these contains different information based on the type of content I'm currently working on. So for example, I'll show you my YouTube template and workflow. So let's go ahead and open that up. Now, once I click this template button, the workspace automatically populates and everything I need to do to produce a YouTube video is right there ready to go for me. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through exactly how I plan my YouTube videos and everything that's in this template. The first thing you will see here is a table. This is linked to my action items or my to-do list. So as I mentioned earlier, every time I sit down and open my Notion first thing in the morning and take a look at my to-do list, every time there's something to do for a piece of content, it's automatically going to pop up there, but then I can also see it here within the workspace for that piece of content. So I know exactly what I'm doing and I can always move the needle on my projects and goals. Below that, I have a section to write a brief description about the video. So what is the points of this video? Then you'll see I have a section here called the video story. As I've mentioned, I've really been emphasizing storytelling within my content lately. So in this section here is a series of questions that I ask and then answer based on the topic of that video. Doing this has really helped me develop a story structure for my videos in a way that I like to create, while still making sure that everything I share is usable value that you can walk away with and implement into your life. Now, as we work our way down the rest of this workspace, you'll see a few different things. A section for key talking points. This is where I'll quickly brain dump all of the key ideas that I want to cover in the video. I also have a section for note from sponsor in case there's anything specific the sponsor is looking for me to mention. All right, now after I fill in all of that information, now it's time to start researching and scripting the video content. So at the bottom of the workspace here, I have a few places to input the research that I do, to actually write the video script, and then to plan the shot list in case a video requires a lot of extra B-roll that I need to film. And then down here, I also have a few checklists and resources. This is just here to help me bring the video to life in the final stages. And lastly, I have metadata. This is where I'll play around with the video titles, the thumbnail ideas, and any other important details like that. And scene. That was a lot of information, I know, but my hope is that you still found value in this, whether it's gaining a deeper understanding of what it's like being a minimalist YouTuber or getting a glimpse into how I actually plan and create my content. I'm sure there's something you took away from this. In fact, I'd love to know what part of this you enjoyed the most, so comment below and let me know. But before you go, always remember to stay true to you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.